Ryan T here, and we're fucking live, baby. That's right. Welcome to the first ever Ryan T Show live film review. And as you can see, it looks like I just moved into my fucking house, but I didn't. It always fucking looks like that. So there's a little fun fact for you. My house always looks like a fucking mess. Alright, ghouls and gals, let's get this film review started. Today we're going to be reviewing Becky. And like all my new movie reviews, I'm going to keep it short, sweet, simple, and to the motherfucking point. Alright, ghouls and gals, let's get it started. Becky stars Lulu Wilson. This girl right here, she plays Becky, a girl who is going through a traumatic time in her life. Her mother has just passed away from cancer, and her and her father, who is played by Joel McHale, go on to a sort of like a family vacation slash getaway to sort of kind of help them cope with this traumatic event when out of nowhere fucking Paul Blart Kill You in the Mall, fucking mall cop Kevin James comes out of nowhere and he's just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, I'm gonna fucking murder you, I'm a white supremacist. Oh yeah, Kevin James is a white supremacist in the movie. If you weren't aware, Kevin James is the villain for this film. He plays a man by the name of Dominic, and he's the villain. He's the villain of this film, and he's a white supremacist that will stop at nothing to get a key that leads to. We never fucking find out, so that's not really spoilers because there isn't anything to fucking spoil. We never find out what that fucking key leads to, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now, I want to talk about how good of a performance Kevin James gave in this film, and I want to say. Kevin James' performance in this film, it kind of feels like he saw Uncut Gems and he was just like, I can do that too. If Adam can do it, I can fucking do it too. And he kind of more or less does it. Sometimes he's convincing as this like evil white supremacist guy, which his whole white supremacist gimmick never really comes up in the movie all that much. Only towards the end, he's kind of like, yeah, you know, every race sort of has its fucking purpose and stuff like that. As he's talking to like Joel McHale's African American fiance, and I was just like, okay. I mean, was that the only reason y'all made him racist so he could say that? I mean, other than that, it didn't really add anything to the story. But going back to his performance in the film, he's semi-believable as this dominant character, and I want to say that he's the reason I say that he's semi-believable is because that, yes, he looks gritty and tough. He has his head shaved. He has all these tattoos, and he's killing people with his bare hands, and but he still has hints of this guy. There's still hints of this guy sticking out. This guy's still rearing his ugly head. You can still see the funny Paul Blart mall cop guy trying to come out there. He's kind of like clawing his way out. He's like, let me do something stupid. Let me fall down. Let me make fun of myself for being fat. Come on, please. And like he never gets to, and you can so tell that he wants to really, really bad. But he's okay in the film. He's serviceable. Everybody in this film is just okay. And that's kind of my problem with this film. Is that everybody's kind of just okay. And you know what I mean? And they're in a not okay situation. They're in a situation that would almost, you know, be okay if they were overacting, if they were like going over the top and stuff like that. And that's not to say that this film doesn't go over the top. Its visuals go over top. It has some impressive fucking gore scenes. It has some of the best practical effects that I've seen in a long fucking time. If you're a practical effect fucking horror, you get a boner off practical effects, you're gonna be fucking rock hard throughout this entire movie, because I was fucking rock hard throughout this entire movie. I was just like, oh my god, look at those beautiful fucking practical effects. But practical effects can't save a movie, and that's not to say that this movie's bad. It's just okay. And again, that's my problem with this movie. It's just okay, because this film is essentially just a modern, gritty remake of Home Alone, where Kevin McAllister is played by Lulu Wilson, aka Becky, and it kind of works. It kind of works when this film isn't taking itself too seriously. But that's where lies a problem with this film. This film is tonally confused. This film wants to be kind of gory and almost kind of slapsticky and comedic at times, and then it wants to quickly transition to some serious moments where you have Kevin James, or AKA Dominic, talking to his henchmen, where he kind of like treats them as a son. They have a father-son relationship when everybody like he's talking to is like older than him, so that doesn't really make sense. But yeah. Um, it doesn't really mesh well. The over the top gore scenes, for example, you have a scene where somebody's eyeball literally gets ripped out and they cut it with kitty scissors. Like they have a whole entire fucking spiel where they're trying to cut the thing off with kitty scissors. And then right directly after that, they have like a big fucking intimidating speech where they're trying to show you that they mean business. And it's kind of like, well, do they? They're kind of fucking goofy and stupid, and that's where this film kind of is comfortable with. That's how Becky gets away with all the things that she gets away with, because Kevin James and his band of mall cops, they're pretty fucking inept and stupid and slow. And that's, I mean, for the most part, I mean, she's a kid. In this movie, she plays like a 11, 12-year-old kid. And it's a good character. The Becky character is a good character. I like how they took the character in the direction of like this character was always gonna probably go down a kind of a shitty road, because she wasn't really dealing with the trauma that she had with her mother passing away. She wasn't dealing with that well at all. The film has showed certain examples where it shows that she steals and she's kind of a little fucking asshole. So the film does do the Becky character right. Her character is done superbly well. So mwah, good job, Becky. You did a good job. You developed that character very well. The two directors that directed this movie, they did a good job of directing that actress, or directing Lululemon, because she gives good life to the Becky character. And I know earlier I said everybody else was just okay. She's good in this movie. She's good in this movie. She's having the time of her life, killing adults and being this spunky fucking Home Alone Kevin McAllister-esque character. But going back to what I was saying, it's not believable to see a little kid do these kind of things. And this film, it knows that, and it sometimes likes to be in that sort of territory where it's over the top and it knows the kind of movie that it is, but then sometimes it doesn't know that it's in that sort of territory. Sometimes it wants to be that goofy over the top action movie where it's like the gritty realistic version of Home Alone, and then sometimes it wants to be this serious thriller suspense movie, and it doesn't really pull the thriller suspense off as much as it does the gory over the top fun stuff. And I really wish there was more of that gory over the top fun stuff. And they do the good idea of kind of leaving it towards the end. They kind of, again, they take their time developing the Becky character, and they give her kind of a motive, and they kind of give her an overarching, you see this character, she has progression, you know what I mean? She gets worse, and spoilers towards the end of the movie, you kind of get a sense that things aren't going to get better for this character. And I like that this film did that this film wasn't afraid to be like, hey, you know what, there isn't always a good ending. I mean, this character saw a lot of bad shit, did a lot of bad shit, and she's probably going to continue doing bad shit. And I enjoyed that they did that. This movie does a couple of things very well. I mean, another thing that this movie does very well is that this film has some really impressive transitions. They do this cool thing where, for example, this one scene that stuck out to me the most, where they had the Becky character right here, and then they had the Dominic character right here, and they were in two totally opposite places, but they were able to edit it to make it look like they were facing right one another, and it looked really cool, like the way that they were transitioning between the two. And they did another thing where they were kind of making a kind of like a statement. They were making a statement where schools are kind of reminiscent to jails, and they were editing in and out of like Becky going to school and the dominant character, which is a villain, being in jail, and him in his day in his life, a day in both of their lives. And it was really cool the way they transitioned between the two, and I was kind of like, ah, I see what you're doing there. And that was interesting. I like that. So from a directorial standpoint and a technical standpoint, there was some interesting shit in this movie. From that standpoint. Um, and I will say that this movie did surprise me. This movie surprised me because I saw the trailer for this movie, which has been playing on and off right here, right there. I don't know where to point. I don't know how to point anymore. Fusion, huh? But I saw the trailer from this movie and I was like, oh, this kind of looks like cheap and shitty, and it was cheap. It was a cheap movie. It was a relatively cheap movie, you could tell, but it wasn't shitty at all. They made good use of their budget and they knew what kind of movie they were sometimes, and for that I have to give them praise. So in summary, Becky is a decent decent kind of over the top suspenseful thriller with kind of like horror elements in there, with everybody kind of just giving decent to okay performances, with Lulu Wilson being the standout character. She's Becky, it's her show. She holds this movie together on her shoulders because I know this is what's supposed to be Kevin James's uncut gems moment, because he's never really played a part like this, and I hate to say it, and I'm not trying to shit on the guy at all. Kevin James is fine, I guess, if you like him. I mean, if you like that sort of thing, I'm not trying to shit on the guy, but he's no Adam Sandler. I mean, it's Adam Sandler is sort of an actual kind of good actor. I mean, you've seen Punch Drunk Love, Uncut Gems, and I'm sure he has a couple of other movies that he's good in, but those are the two that are sticking out in my head right now. Kevin James doesn't kind of have that kind of range, or he kind of doesn't know how to play somebody else other than Kevin James, as opposed to where Sandler, if they use him correctly, like they did again in Uncut Gems, he's very effective. And I'm not saying that Kevin James isn't effective in this film. It's just he only almost works, So for that, I got to give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. I enjoyed this film, and I suggest you go out there and rent this film or pirate it or do whatever the hell you do to watch movies, and check it out. Again, guys, 6.5 out of 10, and I'll see you in the next one. And if you like this live review, if you like this sort of thing, make sure you leave a like and you leave a comment, and I'll do some more of these, guys.